Good morning. Good morning. What day is it today? Wednesday already. Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday. Or is it Tuesday? I can only look at the art. No, it's definitely Wednesday. We didn't manage all that in one day. Good morning. Come on in. I know you're there. Hi, Steve. Steve Ellen, you're in the building too, I hope. Good morning. Nice to have your company too. Steve's in with you today, and he'll be answering all your questions and directing you if there's anything you need to find or you got any questions. Come on in. It's quite chilly today, even in New Mexico. Bit overcast. Is that my top? Arty. Today it's all about the art, isn't it? Just for an hour. It's all about the art. How are you anyway? You all right? What's this, week 7 now? I'm losing track. Come on in. Grab a cup of tea. Grab a cup of tea. I ran out of my wedding cups. They're all in the dishwasher. So I thought, right, well, there you go. There's my message to you today. You rock. You really do rock. When I look at the artwork that you're posting on Clarity Worldwide, it's amazing. It's exciting. It makes my day. Sometimes I get a bit despondent at the moment because it's just, I don't know where we're going, and I don't think anybody does really, And I get quite low, and then I go on Clarity Worldwide and I see your artwork and I think, it's okay. It's okay. If nothing else, we've cracked this, haven't we? This 10 o'clock. Has this become a real kind of working part of your daily routine? Because my whole day revolves around this 1 hour of doodling, It does. And that's okay, actually, because it's what's keeping me sane. There's the word I was looking for. Sano. So, never mind, just for this hour. And we're in New Mexico. Just pretend. Look, I've got my gear on. I put my hair up because I've been up since stupid o'clock. And I've been recording VTs. Remember I said I was going to do some videos for the shows. When do they start? Is it today? Wednesday? I think today there's a TV show. Yeah, I think today at 1 o'clock. Yeah, today at 1 o'clock. I'm going mad. What do you mean I'm going mad? Come on in. Yeah, on her Chanda at 1 o'clock today, there's a TV show. And then on Thursday, there's a TV show at 5 o'clock. Then on Friday, there's a TV show at 3 o'clock. And on Saturday, 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock. There you go. And I haven't done the artwork for the 11 o'clock one yet. And then I'm done when I've done that. So this morning, as I was saying, I put my hair up because I was up at 5 doing the VTs. I'm best early in the morning. And I find the longer we're in lockdown, I'm more efficient when I get out of bed and I've had a good night's sleep. I can go for it. I can be more productive in the early hours before it's even really light than after this. So I do it before, and that works for me. So I've already done my day's work. 1 minute to 10. Come on in. Yeah, so for the VTs on telly, I couldn't have my hair down. I couldn't look like a hippie, could I? And once it's up, it's staying up for the day. Come on in. Good to have your company. Good to have your company. And today, we're still on that blessed Dreamcatcher. However, I was thinking about that just now when I was making me a cup of tea, because I thought, God, 3 days on a Dreamcatcher. But then I thought, well, actually, it isn't just a Dreamcatcher, is it? It doesn't, and apart from anything else, we understand that it's lovely to learn things, and it's lovely, but there's more going on here than doodling, isn't there? There's more than doodling. And within the Dreamcatcher, there's so much we're learning. And we're not done yet. We learned how to do a feather yesterday, for example. We learned how to do those. When you actually dissect, deconstruct the Dreamcatcher, there's so much. We learned how to do, you remember yesterday, the concentric circles on the finger. So So if you think about it like that, the Dreamcatcher is just a vehicle, isn't it? It's just a vehicle for learning loads of tricks and tips, and it's something that binds everything. And I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with that. You know, I don't need to be creating a mural, you know. All I want to do is hang out with a few friends, clear my head, park everything outside the door, dress up, smile, and have an hour of creativity. Good morning, everybody. Is it 10 o'clock? Yeah, it's 1 minute past 10. Welcome to the SHAC. Safe, happy and creative. Stay home and craft. That's right. That's right. And regardless of what's going on, regardless of what Westminster says, well, stay at home, don't stay at home. Go to work, don't go to work. You know, in the end, that's why I got despondent yesterday. Because I was like, well, what are we doing then? Are we opening our doors or are we closing our doors? Am I allowed to go or am I not allowed to go? Whew, you know? NTW. None the wiser. But there you go. At the moment, all I've got to worry about is these feathers. So, and let the rest sort itself out. Because I've often found that if you leave things alone long enough, they do mostly sort themselves out. And you and I, we're just quite happy in here, aren't we? I mean, I'm not going skipping down the road to the high street anytime soon, and I'm sure you're not either. I tell you what I did do this morning, in between telly and coming to hang out with you, I put another spin on another feather, and I thought that would be interesting just to try something, a different feather. You know, because we've done one feather, because I read the messages from you yesterday. Thank you so much for, you know, for your feedback as well. I really appreciate it. And the feedback that I was getting was, oh, I've always wanted to do feathers. I really love the feathers. I'm really glad we're doing feathers. Feathers have always eluded me. Blah, blah, blah. So I thought, right, okay, if that's the case, let's hang around the feathers a little bit longer, shall we? In fact, I even did a little bit of research. So we're going to get to that. But first of all, let's have a look at where we're going, just in case somebody's stumbled upon us and thinking, who's this bird in the colourful top? I don't know. Let me know when you find out. And we will have a look at where we're going, right? So this is what we are moving towards, isn't it? And this is where I asked you to get. I missed out. I didn't do my one here, but that's because I thought I'd do it quickly while we're together, just to recap. Not for any other reason, but I thought just in case I could do that quickly, just to recap what we've already done. So today what we're going to do is the shading, the beads, the feathers. We'll pen them. Are you happy with your feathers? Are you happy with your feathers? If you're happy with your feathers, shake your hands. Clap your hands, yeah. If you're happy with your feathers, clap your hands. If you're happy... Right, great. Calm down. Right, we'll sing that later when we've done it. So the other thing that I was going to show you, let's have a look. Aha, there it is. So I thought, funky feather, okay? Because I was playing with different ways, here look, of decorating feathers. Because obviously there are so many different possibilities. And I thought you could go dotting, you could go a dotting. Let's look at the other camera and let's get up close. Just grab that lot. And let's have a look at the, hang on, that way. Right, so let it focus. There you go. So you can create depth with dots. You can create depth with, you see the lines? Now this was interesting because Dave, ever inquisitive mind, he could see when he watched the video yesterday that I didn't know the names, the technical names of all the bits. Not that it's that crucial, but it was interesting. Apparently, these little filaments, you know, these, because feathers are made up of thousands of those little tiny filaments, aren't they? They're called, wait for it, barbs. Didn't know that, did we? And the one down the middle, this one, that I kept calling the spine, because I couldn't think of the right word, but everybody understood what I meant. I don't know how to pronounce it. Rachis. This is the rachis, this bit. And the top end here is the calamus, the right top end bit. So I guess it'd be the calamus would be the, if we were going to use a quill. I don't know. Anyway, so you can see, you can dot it, you can stripe it. 005, that's definitely the finest of the micron pens, isn't it? So if you were going to do that, you definitely would do that with that pen. Look, the 005. I'm going to see if I can show you. It's got at the, hang on, maybe it's got on there. There you go. It says it on the side as well, silly girl. Look, see 005. It's the finest one of them all. Tell you what though, if you haven't got a 005 pen, if you've got a sharp HB pencil, that'll do the trick as well. Okay, pencils are always cool. And then I started having a play because I was looking at this. This is when we got technical, and I thought, well, really, if you were a bird, this be a bit precarious because it's quite a flimsy feather, isn't it? You know, if you had a bit of weight on you, you'd want something a little bit more robust than that. So I thought, So I drew this one, right, with less of the air holes, if you like, right, a bit stronger. And I thought, yeah. And then I remembered, and then I went a-searching, because when I drew this, that reminded me so much of a piece of jewellery. And I kid you not, I drew this, and then I went off and found the jewellery rather than the other way round. So if I show you the jewellery, look, right. But I did actually go hunting for the jewellery afterwards so that you can see. This is a piece of Native American Indian jewellery, look. See? And what they've done is they took the semi-precious stones and they ran it down the rachis. I know. We live and learn. So it was interesting when I drew this, because it's quite a nice one. And I thought, well, what we could do is add a little bit of shade round here, right? And then there's actually no air holes in this one. And it's a really nice shape. It's a softer shape. And when you look at feathers, they're not all pointed like that, are they? A lot of them are like that. A lot of them are quite smooth around the bottom, quite round. I suppose it depends which bird and what part of the bird, doesn't it? So anyway, I thought this was quite nice to show you as well, this old silver brooch. I bought this in Albuquerque, 20 years ago. Isn't that lovely? Needs a bit of a polish. It's a beautiful brooch. So I thought we'd have a go at that, yeah? And so we try that one as well. Look. Okay. But first of all, I would suggest that we go to our Dreamcatcher and we do the shading, because that will get us in the zone and it gives people a chance to catch up with us, see where we are. So what we need to do that now is our circles with our geometric pattern. We've done loads really. And my no, that's 5B. I don't want a 5B, it's too soft. 5B would be a black, soft black, buffer black, right? If you get the H pencils, it's for hard. Look, I've got these. We've got these coming in actually. Here, look. So these are great. Like seriously good. But if you look at the pencils, just in case you're not familiar, H hard, 2 harder, and then B black, right? So you can see 3B, 6B, 5B, 7B, 8B is going to be a really soft black, almost like a charcoal. So these are really beautiful pip pens from Faber-Castell. They're professional. For me, that's what I used to draw. But we've said it all along, you can use a biro, you can use any old pencil. You don't have to have the stash to get something really good out of these doodle sessions. Right, so now what we want to do next is add shadow, shade. Should we do that just to calm down a little bit? Let's have a look. So we'll get comfortable, and I think I'll come to that camera. There we go. And what we're going to do, if we look at the one that I've already started, you'll see I'm shading this area in between the, see in between there. We've done this before, haven't we? So you're doing it that side and that side. So it's that bit there and that bit there. Do you remember when we did that really You all like that one. When we did that really cool frame with the, with the house that Jack built, with the SHAC. Do you remember? And it had a kind of a line in it, like, so it really made it look tubular. That was clever. I enjoyed that one. So come on, let's get our eye in, and let's just go round here, and let's just settle into a bit of a shading doodle, shall we? Right, I'm just using me HB pencil. That'll do me. Any HB pencil will do. I had a really cheap one to start with, didn't I? And then I got all professional and got the good one out. Right, so you just light feathery. So it doesn't want to be too severe. So let me show you. I know I'm getting pedantic, but that's how you get good, right? So you follow like that first, and then when you've done that, you do a little bit of what they call, just feather it upwards, right? So you go like that, get it dark. Oh, that's a little bit strong. And then you feather it upwards so that it's more graduated, see? So darker along the edge and then feather. Darker along the edge and then feather it upwards. And you'll see that that's how you get a really good graduated. How you doodling? All right. There you go. See? Already it's coming together. Whee, where are we going? Just like that, see? Nice. And we don't have to rush it. Look, it's only 9:10. There you go. Calm. So that's what's so nice about coming to New Mexico. Have you got anything lovely and turquoise on? Did you dress up for the occasion a little bit? Did you? I quite enjoyed thinking about what I was going to wear today. I bought this top in Taos. It's hand painted silk. There you go. They're so artistic. Yeah, hand painted silk. I loved it. But I mean, the thing, to be honest, is where are you going to wear it here? Where are you going to wear it in England? I got carried away. I bought 3 of them. Yeah, stupid. The woman lives in excess. I just loved them so much, and I was all caught up in the sun and the vibe, and there we are in Taos, in the land of enchantment, on holiday, and there are these hand-painted, silk, beautiful tops, and they're loose and airy, and I thought, God, I'd look good in that. So I bought 3, and they're all different. Well, if they're hand painted, they're going to be, but they're different colours as well. And I'm really glad I'm wearing it today. But it's not really the sort of thing that you'd hang out in this country, is it? So I'm going to have to get over that. Nice in the garden, I suppose. Or next time when I go back to Taos, it'll be something nice to wear. What are you wearing? Come on. Did you find any turquoise jewellery? Did you find any turquoise earrings? Did you find a turquoise scarf to wear? I mean, it's turquoise, the semi-precious stone. It's turquoise, the colour. We were talking about it yesterday, weren't we? About the symbolism behind it in New Mexico. I hadn't realised how much turquoise I have in our home. I think it's a beautiful colour. Anyway, don't you? So round we go. We all right doing this? Come on, this is easy. What we have to stop doing, right? I'm talking to myself now. What we have to stop doing is thinking that we've got to produce, get productive, make more, do more, buy more, have more. We live in such a more society. See, I have to make a real conscious effort to slow down what I'm doing here, don't you? Because I keep thinking, come on, I've got to get going. I've got this to do and I've got that to do. And I'm thinking, well, why? What's the rush? You know what? There's nothing that can't wait a day. There's nothing that urgent that it can't wait a day. Right, I'm going around the other way now. There is nothing, and that's something that the New Mexicans, the Spanish and the Mexicans, they get it. Maybe it's because it's just so hot they can't move any faster. I don't know. But they have a real, I bet that has got something to do with it too, because it is that hot that you really can't run around. And also, Mountain Air, our little village, our little town, it's only 1,000. I think, how many people live there? Not many, anyway. 100,000 maybe? No, that'd be a town, wouldn't it? I don't even know. But there's not many live there. But in Mountain Air, right, it's 7,000 feet above sea level. So the air's quite thin. You know, it's not that, it's different to, it takes a little bit of getting used to that. You certainly couldn't run up the road in 110 degrees without falling over. Right. So, of course, you're going to slow down, aren't you? And when you think about what we're doing here, the whole purpose of this doodling, the daily doodle that we do, right, is for us to just calm down, focus on what we're doing. It's a completely mindful exercise, isn't it? See? So yes, back to my question. Did you find any jewellery? Did you find anything nice? I'd love to see a picture. Maybe you can... I know I did read yesterday that somebody ran and got some turquoise jewellery and put it on. Isn't that lovely? There you go. But you see how dimensional it's starting to... Isn't that cool how it works? Let's have a look from above so you can see it. See how it starts to get tubular? Let's look close. Look, isn't it? When you think that all you're doing is putting a little bit of pencil work around the outside, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Nearly done. Nearly done. And I've made a bit of a chisel now. My pencil's a bit softer. It's easier then to use, isn't it? Like that. And I just turn the artwork to myself. There you go. Yeah, all good. I like this. I like what it symbolises, and I like what it's teaching me. It's a kind piece of artwork, isn't it? It's kind, it's got good energy. So once we've done the outside, we're going to go on the inside. So we'll go around again. I'm going to do the whole thing on the outside again. This is a bit smaller now, so we've got to just come in a little bit tighter, haven't we? Come a little bit closer to the edge on these. There you go. Cool. Then we're going to do the beads. Should we do the beads? There we are. Calm. God, there's so many things that I could tell you about New Mexico. It's just wonderful. Last year we were there and we went to, so we had the trip of a lifetime last year because it was my 60th, and we went to New Mexico first with my brother Steve and his girlfriend Sheila. You there, Sheila? Morning, Sheila. Sheila's always here. Aren't you, love? She's on the design team. She's a great artist. Yeah, so the four of us, Dave, Sheila and myself. Dave, Sheila, Steve and myself. We went to New Mexico first. We went to the house stayed there for a while, bit of downtime. And then we went to San Francisco, and then we went to Hawaii, to Maui. Right. So while we were, I've got to tell you, so while we were in Mountain Air, because obviously Sheila had never been there before, Dave had. And we'd gone up to one of the adobes over one of the ancient ruins, and as you go in, it says, please stay on beware of rattlesnakes, respect the rattlesnakes, and please stay on the trail. Right. So Steve and I had actually already seen one up there years ago, and Sheila was, I'd love to see a snake. I thought, well, yeah, well, the jury's out on that, but okay. So we, that looks good, that one. I like that. So that was on her list of things that she wanted to see. There you go, look. Isn't that cool? And I wasn't that fussed, really. You know, rattlesnakes are not really my thing. And so we were all in the house one day. Right, I'll carry on that story when I do the next bit. How are you doing? Are you there? Have you done the shading around the outside? So we've got our tubular thing, have you? A bit of stretching, look, hand painted. Oh, it's all very arty in New Mexico, I can tell you. Right, so the next thing we want to do is I think we could look at, we've done the shading. Have you done the shading, or am I going too fast for you? No, you're all right. Good. So the next thing we could do is the feather. Let me just recap the feather, because then we're going to pen them, aren't we? Yeah? Let's have a look. Okay, so we go to this one, and I'll just recap this one, and then we can pen them. So we're going to take the feather to about there. This is for the benefit of somebody who hasn't, who just a revision, really. I think that's not a bad idea, is it? So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this down like that. So that's what we called, what was the name of it? The rachis, right? So we'll travel from, this is the calamus, right, down it comes, and then we're going to go down the spine, down the rachis. We decide which way we want to spin it, like that. Then we'll make our shape, our general shape of where we want to go, like so. Quite simple, really, like that, right? And then once you're happy with the shape, then you've got to cut in and decide where your barbs, apparently that's what they're called, you're going to go in and decide where they're, see there's a lot more of them up here, I would say. They seem to break up a bit more there, and then as they come down, they don't break up so much, do they? So it's like that, really. This one looks a bit ropey, but we're getting there. Right, we don't need too many on that side because it's curling that way, so it would be a bit weird. It's going to open up that way, isn't it? So these are the ones that are going to be more prevalent on that side. Right, so that's about right. That'll do. And then when I pen it, it will look a lot better than that. So I'm using this edge here to establish my shape, and then I can just go through like so. And then I'll soon work out as I come back down. Right, so then, and as far as the curl goes, this one, I want to curl it round the back. So that's easy. So it just goes like that, disappears, and then it comes around there. Sorted. Right, because we had a little bit of a session, didn't we, on curling the... There you go, nice. So that one's gone around the back. Cool. So, looking from the top, that's what our feathers look like now. See, that one's flicking that way, that one's flicking that way. They're all flicking in different directions. You've all got that, I think. Right, and now we've got some beads on our Dreamcatcher. Sorted. So we're going to pen those, but before, let's say this, right? Before we pen them, it just makes more sense, in my opinion, before we pen them, because then otherwise you'll pen them and then you'll go, I wish I hadn't, because I want to do that now, or I want to do that now, or I would have preferred to make those feathers. And then at this point you still could, couldn't you? But once penned is penned. Are we in agreement with that? Just nod. Okay, so why don't we have a look at what we're going to do to the feathers before we begin? And then that way, because you may change the outline based on the infill. Does that make sense? Alrighty. I thought it would be nice to have a look at this one though, just because we can. And it's another doodle. It's a doodle, right? We won't put it on here though, because remember we're hanging out in New Mexico for a little while, so there's more to come if we ever get beyond this Dreamcatcher. It's all right, we're going to have mountains here. No rattlesnakes in these mountains though, trust me. But if we do this feather, let's just indulge me. Get another bit of copy paper. Get another bit of copy paper. Because you might want to add these. When you get the knack of this one, you might say, right, I'm going to add this to my border. See, you may like this. So with this particular feather, right, again, look, get the rachis in first. That's my opinion. This is the spine, right? So get the spine in, like so. Start at the top. Let's do that first, right? This is what I would call, it's quite a big feather. Let's just do a big one so we can get the patterns right. It's a stronger feather. It's stronger. I'll tell you what, it's what the headdresses often are this type of feather, aren't they? Rounder at the bottom. Right, so we've got that bit in. Let's do a little, let's just go down again. Oh, right, hang on. I need to get more control over the second line. So that is my spine, aka rachis. Now I want to, this is why I'm talking about choices, choices, choices. If you look at my brooch, that's in that thing, that's in there, isn't it? Look, watch. That's embedded in that spine. So in other words, look, the spine comes down, there's a little twist. I love, look at the detail. So it twists around the top, then it gets thin, and then all along here, it's like inlaid. It's inlaid, right? But the point I'm making is that you could colour that bit in, couldn't you? So your spine or your rachis could become the focal point of your feather. Instead of this, you could have a bigger area in the middle, straight down the middle like that, that could be full of beautiful patterns, right? Just saying. So now let's just get the shape in, because the shape, if we come down like this, this is quite a cool one. Let's just give it a go. Right? And so it's going to be more, it's like less on that side and more on that side, and then it's coming into like so. Do you see? A little bit bulbous, but that's about right. This is maybe a little bit, no, that's fine. And then, because it still looks like a feather, step away from it and ask yourself, does it look like a feather? Yeah, it does. It sure does. It has that feel of a feather. Do you know what? And if it doesn't, it's an arty feather. Who says, right? So get your shape in. It's a feather doodle. So I've got my shape in there like that. I'm happy with that one. And I'm happy with that. And what I'm trying to say is, if you wanted to at this point, you could grab, instead of doing what I'm going to do, you could make a great big box in here like that. And you could put beautiful little patterns, like different coloured boxes all the way down there. That's another possibility. So you're using the spine as your colour element. But what I wanted to show you was, if once you've got the shape and then you've got all your barbs, look, you're down up here, so you put them up there, and then you don't need more than that on that side. Now, because think it through, if it's twisted this way, that way, then this side, if we're going to have any openings like we did yesterday, we did loads because it was very stylised what we did, didn't we? Right? If you're going to have any openings, they're going to be on that side, aren't they? Not on that side. That side's compressed, if you like, because the feather's going that way. Does that make sense? I think this is fun. Have a look. There, you can see that better maybe there, right? Everybody happy? Oh, have you all left the building? Am I Army Jack Jones here? That's okay too. Right, so once you've got your shape in, like that, and you're happy with where your barbs are, isn't that funny? It's called a barb. Right, well, there's thousands of barbs, okay. This side's smooth, happy with the shape, yeah. And then what we're going to do is get funky. So if you look at the top one, you can see what I've done is I've just made shapes. So I tell you what's a good starting place is to use this area here, because you've given yourself sections, and you'll find it easier to make funky shapes within those boxes there. It just works better. So for example, now I could take a shape and just go like that. There you go, that's the first one. Then I'm maybe in this one, because it's quite big, maybe I'll make two like that. That works. Here, I think I'll make a trapeze like that. I'll just go with the shape of what I've got. And then here I think I'll make some semicircles. I'll make a pair of semicircles like that. Going down to the end, I'll make something like that. So I'm building my shapes on that side. Then on the other side, it doesn't have to be symmetrical. I could put a semicircle there. Hey, I could put what's that called? A rhombus or something? Come on, O-level maths, help me out. See, you could put one of those. I think here I might put a lovely big round one like that. And then I might put a little one there just for kicks. And then I'm thinking here, maybe something like that would be really cool. Do you see what I'm getting at? So you just another little one there. Nice. So when you look from above, you're kind of filling, it's a funky feather. It's just a funky feather. It's bigger than this one. But it's cool. Very cool. How you doing? And then you see, once you've done this, and we pen this one, it's easy. So then you could take your number one tool, and you can pen that. And then let's just park this one for the minute, because I think this is just another idea, all right? So leave that one for the minute. Now we've got that shape. Then the other thing we can do is look at dots. We can either dot our feathers. So if you've got a feather, let me do it on my one so that you can see what it looks like. On this, for example, you take your pen when you've inked it and you dot it, or you actually define your barbs. But before we do that, we want to do the outline, okay? And now the only thing that you may want to change is the shape of your feathers, but that's your shout. So we're going to ink these now, right? We're going to ink these ones. And don't forget that with the feathers, with the Dreamcatcher, Lucy kindly, and Steve Ellen, he knows he will help you find the concentric circles, the Dreamcatcher shape. So you could make loads of them. And you could, see, I think this would look really nice. Let me just turn that over like that. Look, wouldn't that look good as well? With those sort of feathers. Just saying. It's just different. Choices, choices, choices. I'm trying to get you going and making your own choices as well, because I think that's important when we're doodling. So many of you, I love it when I see it on the, on Facebook Live. I see you going off at a tangent, and I think absolutely bang on. That means that this has served its purpose, what we're doing here, because it means that you're off then. Your creative spirit has taken over, and you're flying, and even if you're just here and drinking your tea and listening and enjoying the company, that's fine too. But there are so many of us, they're so creative, and we're artists. We are artists. And you just need somebody to come along and just keep unlocking that door and unlocking that door. And then eventually you'll go, or that window, you open that window, and then suddenly you'll go, and then it just fills you, and you're going for it, you know. And I know that I know it because I am that person. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to ink this, and we're going to relax into it, and always hold this thought. I know I digressed, but I digressed for a reason, because I know a lot of people, a lot of you are real creatives. Real creatives. You're just, at the moment, with everything that's going on, some of you have lost your mojo, and all I'm trying to do is unlock it again. Right, I'm going to use, I've got an 01 and a 005. Everybody happy? Can you hear me all right? Cool. What one shall I try? Let me take a bit of scrap, and let me just check which one I want to use on my feather. This is what I'm suggesting you do too. 005 or the 1. One's a bit fatter. I'm going to go with my 1 for the outside, and I reckon the 005 if I decide to feather my barbs. I'm liking the dots, but it's a preference thing, isn't it? Right, let's do the feathers, and then when we've done the feathers, we'll do the beads. One thing at a time. Right, feathers in, at the ready. Go. So I'm going to come in like that, right, and then I'm tracing now. I'm just tracing what I did. Easy. So let me take you back to last summer. There we were, in the house. Everybody was doing their thing. I was in the kitchen. Sheila was somewhere else. Dave was somewhere else. And then suddenly Steve shouts, "Sheila, snake!" So, of course, we all ran, didn't we? We all wanted to see. So we went to the side door, which is the door that we use to get in the house. And there's a snake on the path outside the back door, if you like. And so the door's glass, so we're looking at it, and I said, "What sort of snake is it then?" So we opened the door, and we all stood there with this snake around us, all stood around this snake. I mean, that's what you've got to understand. Us stupid Brits were standing around the snake like this. What do you think it is then? I said to Steve, "What do you think that is? Is that a bull snake? It's quite big, isn't it? Because it must have been about 5 foot long." So there we were, all looking at it. And then Steve said, "Well, do you know what? In that book I was looking at the other night, it did half look like one of them diamondbacks. You know when we were in that museum in Albuquerque yesterday, because we went to the Snake Museum the day before, he said, one of them diamondbacks in there looked just like that." I said, "No, I don't think so, do you? I don't remember." He went, "Well, yeah, I actually think that could be a rattlesnake." So there we were, daft Brits abroad, right, standing around this snake. And then I've got to show you, this snake goes like this. It's just lying there in the sun, basking, right, and we thought, "Oh, that's fine." And then suddenly it went whoosh, like that. The 4 of us were like that. And then it was like one of those comedy sketches where you rewind really fast, and all our little flip-flops were like back in the house behind the glass, like that, looking through the window. Like, oh my God. And this snake was like that. And then we heard it through the glass. Right, and then we saw the end of it, the snake, the tail, the rattle bit. It was a rattlesnake. It was a serious rattlesnake, right? Like mental. So there we were, like that. I tell you what, that clears the sinuses. And so we wanted to go out, but we couldn't go out because this blooming snake wouldn't go away. It was there for ages. And so I rang the ranger. Believe it or not, I think his name was Ray. So I rang Ray the ranger, friendly one that was up at where the ancient site is where we saw the sign that said stay on the trail. So I thought, right, well, Ray the ranger, he was quite a friendly bloke. Let me ring him and let me ask him what to do about this snake that's outside the back door that's not going anywhere. So he said, his exact words were, have you got a gun, ma'am? And I thought, well, no, I'm afraid I haven't got a gun. And then he said, well, you're just going to have to wait till it leaves. I thought, right, okay, well, you know, time's on our side. We're in the house. So there we were in the house, and the snake wasn't going anywhere. He was well up for it. And he was poison, ready to go. Poison and poison. He must have stayed there for about an hour. And we just watched him carefully. And then I rang the ranger again, because this blimmin' snake wasn't going anywhere. So I rang him back. And he said, you know, I said, what happens if we, just by way of interest, just out of interest, I said, what happens if we get bitten by this snake outside the door? Just, you know, just asking, just inquiring, really. You know, forewarned is forearmed and all that. He says, well, then I'd call, I don't know, what was 911 or, right? And he said, you need a air ambulance. He said, they'll send in an air ambulance. I thought, cool, that's a little bit extreme. He says, because you got, this is the bit. He goes, because if you get bit by a rattler, you got about half an hour before your organs start shutting down. And I thought, right, well, cancel the trip, we're staying indoors. Yeah, he did. You got half an hour before your organs start shutting down. And I thought, well, do you know, there's a lot to be said for East Sussex. When you're faced with a rattler in your back garden. So yes, Sheila, her memory, all that loveliness, all that beauty, everything that was going on in New Mexico, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, all that beauty and magic and enchantment. And if you said to her, if you had an association game with her and you said, New Mexico, she'd go, Rattlesnake. She would. Not New Mexico Turquoise or New Mexico Santa Fe or New Mexico Gallery. She'd go, Rattlesnake. I understand it. I get you, Sheila. I hear you. Right, how are you getting on? Have you done your feathers? Are they looking delightful? Right, get your beads in next. Let's do the beads. Right, big beads. The bigger the beads, I'm going to make them bigger than they are, than I drew them. Because they're easier if they're bigger to put the shadow in, right? And then that's going to come into there. We've just got a little bit of artistic license there, right? Big beads, because you get a good gleam on them if you want to put a gleam on them. I'm only going to put 3 in there, like that. Right, a bit shorter that bit was. Right, and then you can put little beads in between if you feel inclined. Bloody rattlesnake. When I was with my brother, the year before, I was with Steve, and we went up to see Ray the Ranger at the Gran Quivira, it's called, ancient site for Native American Indians. So we went up to the sacred site, and it said stay on the trail, and we were like, yeah, a bit sceptical, you know, the old sceptical Brit syndrome, and got to rub the pencil work out now. So we went up there, and Ray the Ranger, he says to us, make sure you stay on the trail, ma'am and sir, because the rattlers are out. And we were like, yeah, tourists, you know what I mean? He saw us coming. And so we went off down the trail. I'm just, you know, sceptical. You think, yeah, whatever. And we hadn't gone 10 feet from Ray's hut where he stays safe in his shack. And my brother, who is a joker, we're walking along and I'm looking at the sky, beautiful blue skies, and he suddenly goes like that. right, across my chest. And I went, Steve, don't do that. You know, you put the wind up me, pack it in. And we carried on walking. He went, no. And he grabbed me and pulled me back. And there on the path was a great big rattler. Yeah. Oh no, I'm putting you off now, aren't I? Yesterday, I'd lured you into New Mexico and you were all thinking, one day, maybe I'm going to go there. And now you're thinking, nah, you're all right. I'll pass. So I don't know whether they're just growing in number or something, but there's certainly, that's 2 years now, 2 rattlers, you know, so, So one thing I can assure you is that I don't wear flip-flops when I'm walking through tall grass in New Mexico. How's your feathers? Are you happy with them yet? Aye? Right. So now I'm thinking a little flash of colour. What are we thinking? Should we do a little bit? We've got 10 minutes. Come on. Well, who says we've got 10 minutes? We've got, God knows how long we've got. I'm going to add a little flash of colour to my beads. Now, here's the choice I've got. I could either do the beads in black, or I could do them in black with a micron pen, or I could do them with Faber-Castells or with pergoliners. I could use. Let me get me turquoisey colours out of here. I'm definitely going to bring in some turquoises. I've got choices, haven't I? And so have you. So it's entirely up to you. You can either put colour in, if you prefer, or you could leave it blank until we finish this, and then put colour across the whole thing. It's entirely up to you. But let me, in fact, you know what? That's not a daft idea, is it? Because in a minute, when we do this, you might go, oh, I wish I'd done them brown. I wish I'd done them pink. So let's take our sheet where we're doing our doodles, and let's make the pearls or the beads over here, shall we? And then you can decide. Just make a run of beads on here, like on my, anywhere. Look, make a bead. Make another bead. Can you hear my tummy rumbling? Make little beads. There, mate. There you go. So we got a run of beads. Sounds like run of beans. Right, we've got little beads, we've got long beads. Here we go. Right, beads. Okay. So we can decide if they're going to be black. Right, let me show you. If they're going to be black, I know I'm kind of jumping around a little bit here, but it's because I don't, you've got to decide. Do you want to do dots, or do you want to do, you know, let's do the beads first. And then, I know I'm jumping around, but we will find a conclusion here. So what you're going to do is put like a moon, like a crescent moon within your bead. And then if it's going to be black, you're going to fill it in. And what that will do, let me do another one, quite a big one. I'm going to make quite a big crescent moon in there. Because what I find is if you make it too small, then by the time you colour in the bead, there's no whiteness left. It's like a little slit of white. If I hold this up to you, let me see, let the focus come. See how it looks like the light's hitting it? So, for example, if I come, let's do it this way. I can do it upside down, showing off now. If I go like that with my moon in there, like so, right? Then when I colour around here, you'll see I leave the white and it looks like the light is hitting it. There, see? You can make it more like a kidney bean. So come round like that instead of a crescent moon and make a kidney bean like that. And then colour it in, because you can always take a bit away if you think it looks a bit too much. Or you might go, yep, it's a kidney bean bead. See? No, a bit too much, isn't it? See? So then you might want to thin it out a little bit on that side. But at least you've got enough white to eliminate a bit. If you've only got a little sliver, you can't take anything. You can't add it. Look, see? Cool. They don't all have to be the same either, do they? So what happens if you do it in colour? Shall we have a look? I'm not sure. In a minute I'll go, no, that's rubbish. Right, but if you did it in colour, right, you're going to leave, again, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to leave a bit of whiteness, aren't you? Even if you do it in colour. Let's have a look. Leave a bit of whiteness. And then there's your whiteness. You've got to leave the white, otherwise it won't work. See, and then you get really dark round the sides, don't you? That looks quite cool too. See? In blue, in turquoise, or in whatever colour. So that's cool. You can decide whether you want to do coloured beads, right? So they're going to be coloured, they're going to be coloured, or they're going to be black, whichever you prefer. And then finally, let's go. We've got 5 minutes now. Let's go to the, because we've penned these nicely now. And now we're going to decide. I'm going with my 005. I've got 3 things that I could do. In other words, you've got 3 things that you could do. You could either put shapes into your feathers so that you get this type. You could put lines into your feathers so that you get the detailed barbs, or you could put dots into your feathers so that you get. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you all 3, and then you decide which one, or maybe you just want to do all 3 as well. Why not? I think I'll do the dot one on this side. I'm going to do that one in the middle, and or maybe that one. Let's do the dot one first. Forget it. Right. So the dots, it's like shading with dots really. And what you're going to do is, I'm just thinking, maybe it'd be better up. Let's have a look at the top. If we go to the top camera, stay there a minute. Let me just come to the top, and I'll bring it in really tight. There you go. Bingo. Right. Right, don't move that. Right, so what we're going to do with the dots, 005. You still with me? What's the time? Oh, come on, we can do this. So the thing about it is, it's not just dot, 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 right? It's proper. I'm looking at where I'm going. I'm not just putting them anywhere. I'm putting them next to each other. So you don't, is my head in the way? No. So you see, you go along like that, and where you want it to be darker, you can always go in and shade with a bit of pencil afterwards, but where you want it to be darker, they're tighter together, okay? And then when you want to open it up, so you can create the illusion of the barbs, if you like, as they were called, right? You can add your detail with dots. Look, this is quite a nice, very delicate, isn't it? See, I always consider feathers to be quite delicate. So, you see, you go in and you have to concentrate, which is exactly what we all want to be doing, right? Tight, keep tight, like that. And then when you open up, it gets lighter. Do you see how you can get a really lovely shading effect? So really tight along the edge, like don't go too fast because it will just look like a mosh. It's quite a strategic dot matrix. So you go like that. And then when you want it to be lighter, not so much shadow, you open it up. You get looser. See? So that's quite nice. That I really like that. Now this one, let's go to this one. This one I really like that. This one is the one with the lines on where we do the barbs, and we'll start at the top. And what you're going to do is with this, what am I on here? 005. Right, with this one. So that one we could do the whole thing, can't we? We know now that's the dot one. And then this one, you're going to keep tight to each other. So you start there and you go really slowly, and you try to breathe while you're doing it. But you fill your feather like that. And then I would leave that, or you can go from the outside inward like that. But you can create, look, see what I'm doing here? I'm angling the lines. So and then when I get to where there's a split, I'm leaving it. I haven't decided what to do there. So you see how you just keep tight, and you can create bends in the feathers. If you look what I'm doing here, I'm creating almost like, because every time I get to there and then I move. So as I'm doing this, it's creating the illusion, but you can come that way or that way, whichever you prefer. But it's creating the illusion. Oh, and then I'm just going to come in enough like that. Right, but you see how that's really cool as well, isn't it? So you just tuck in and then up you go. So now once you've established that that's the way that these barbs are travelling, then you carry on with those barbs, and eventually what will happen is, what I'm finding is, I find a place where it bends. It automatically, see, I want to come into, so I'm going to come down like that. Right, there you go. And then there, I think I might just take it up to there. See, so that's the option. So we've got some really interesting ways. So I don't want to spoil it, so I want to take my time. But you can see how you can create, look, really interesting, different feathers like that, or this one, you could break it up, couldn't you, like this, and put, now I'll be honest though, with that, I'd be tempted to go in with my HB. I wouldn't go straight in with a pen on that one. I'd be tempted to put my patterns in first and decide what shapes I want. Do I want a semicircle? Do I want triangles up there? You know, I would definitely change. So what I wanted to say was that we've had another hour on feathers, but and shading on the Dreamcatcher, and I've kind of thrown the options to you, haven't I? Rather than Simon says do this, Barbie says do that, do this, do that. This time I'm saying no. You choose. You decide. I'm really looking forward to seeing where you decide to go with your beads, what colours, whether you want to hold fire until we finish the whole picture, maybe. Whether you want to go with the dot matrix, with the shading, with dots, whether you want to go with the barbs, with the stripes, whether you want to combine. See, because the other thing is, as soon as you add a little bit of pencil shade to those feathers, it will change it all together again. So can you believe that we've been going for a whole hour? It's amazing. It's amazing when you get lost in it, isn't it? Lovely. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. So, thank you for joining me. Please do me a favour, like, follow, share, or follow, like, share. Head on over to Clarity Worldwide and check out each other's artwork. You know, we're here to keep you company. We're here to keep you company. At 1 o'clock, I'm going to be on the telly on Hochanda. I think it's 1 o'clock. Do check that out. What have I got going on there? It seems like all the days seem to be rolling into one. Oh, I know. Really lovely florals. Floral stamps, that's right. Nice. And so tomorrow we'll reconvene, if you fancy, at 10 o'clock here, and we'll carry on. And until then, be safe. Thanks, Steve, for helping us today. Be safe, stay safe, happy and creative, remember? And I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Lots of love to you. Bye-bye now.